For this lesson, we're going to talk about units of measurement. In other words, length, angles, temperature, volume. I'm going to start off by talking about temperature. There's four most widely used temperature scales around the world. You have the Rankine scale, the Fahrenheit scale, the Celsius, and the Kelvin. The Rankine is between 492 degrees Rankine and 672. It's 180 equal divisions. The Fahrenheit scale goes from 32 to 212. That's from freezing to boiling. The Celsius scale from 0 to 100 has 100 equal divisions. And the Kelvin scale also has 100 equal divisions. It goes from 273 where water freezes to 373 where water boils. All four scales can be converted from each other. To convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you take your Celsius temperature, multiply it by 9/5, and add 32. To convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, you take your Fahrenheit temperature, subtract 32, and multiply it by 5/9. Make sure you do it in the correct order, or it will not work. Example 1, converting Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, you take your 5/9 times the Celsius temperature minus 32 degrees. Okay, 68 minus 32 is 36. Multiply that by 5/9 equals 20. So 68 degrees is the same temperature as 20 degrees Celsius. Another example, convert 15 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. You take your degrees Celsius, add 32 to it, multiply by 9/5 or 1.8. In this case, we would take our 1.8 times 15 plus 32. Okay, so 27 plus 32 equals 59. 15 degrees Celsius is the same as 59 degrees Fahrenheit. You can find calculators and other websites online that will do this for you. There's a lot of templates out there, and most cell phones as well has conversion tools available. You can also convert Celsius to Kelvin and Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Okay, degrees Celsius equals Kelvin minus 273. Kelvin equals degrees Celsius plus 273. That's because the unit for the Kelvin scale is actually, again, in the same equal divisions as Celsius. So you're just adding and subtracting. Converting Fahrenheit to Rankine and Rankine to Fahrenheit, again, it's just adding and subtracting 460 degrees. So to convert 113 degrees Fahrenheit to Kelvin scale, you have to convert the Fahrenheit to Celsius. Then you have to convert the Celsius to Kelvin because, again, we're changing scales. To express a temperature difference on the Fahrenheit scale as a temperature difference on the Celsius scale, you take your difference in Celsius, take it and multiply it by 5/9 of your difference in Fahrenheit. To express a temperature difference on the Celsius scale, again, you're just going to convert it, okay, to Fahrenheit. Take your Celsius temperature, multiplied by 9/5, and that's your degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, when converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius, be sure to subtract first, then multiply. When converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit, be sure to multiply first, then add. When you're converting a temperature difference from Fahrenheit to Celsius, just multiply it by 5/9. When converting a temperature difference from Celsius to Fahrenheit, multiply by 9/5. Now, angular measurement is a little bit different than temperature measurement. Angles work from 0 to 180 degrees. 180 degrees is a straight line, and 90 degrees is an angle. You use a protractor to measure these. A protractor is a half circle with degree markings on it. An angle is made when two straight lines meet. The two lines are known as the sides or legs of an angle, and they meet at the apex or vertex of the angle. That's the center. To measure an angle, use the protractor. Always place the center mark on a flat edge of the apex or vertex of the angle. Rotate the protractor around the point so one section of the flat edge is aligned with one of the lines of the angle. The size of the angle is red where the other side of the angle crosses the curved side of the protractor. If the angle is larger than the straight line, measure the smaller angle and subtract it from 360. 360 degrees is the full circle. So for example, in our problem 1, we would put our center of the protractor on the point, that's the apex, put the bottom side on the flat line that's along the bottom of this picture, and measure where the other line crosses the protractor at about 45 degrees. This is going to be a little bit closer to the 90 degrees. The 90 degrees would be a straight up and down. And this angle is over 90 degrees, so it will be roughly between 90 and 180, probably in the middle, like at 120. Unit of lengths, we're talking about inches and feet, okay? In the United States, our standard measurements is inches, and then there's feet and yards. There's 12 inches to the foot and 3 feet to the yard. To convert from 24 inches to feet, you take your 24 inches, and you know 1 foot is 12 inches, so in this case you'd have 2 feet. To convert 15,840 inches to a mile, you would take your 15,840 inches, convert it to feet, then convert the feet to mile. There's 5,280 feet in a mile, so we would be having 0.25 miles or a quarter mile. In our second example, we know 3 feet. We want to know how many inches. We take our 3 feet times 12 inches to 1 foot. 3 feet is 36 inches. The conversion problem is set up as a proportion. One of the ratios is equivalent from the tables. The problem is then resolved as a proportion problems. Make sure the units are the same in both ratios, and then you cross multiply. The equivalents are on these tables. 1 foot is 12 inches, 1 yard is 3 feet, 1 mile is 1,760 yards, 1 mile is also 5,280 feet. The metric system is a little bit easier. 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter, 100 centimeters is 1 meter, 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. Then you can, once you have that, you can convert between the English and the metric units. 1 millimeter is 0.03937 inches. And in this way, you can multiply and divide between the two scales to figure out distance. Okay, one example here is adding. Okay, you have 3 feet 5 inches, 4 feet 7 inches, and 8 feet 10 inches. What you want to do is we want to add all the feet and all the inches. And we come up with 15 feet 22 inches equals 16 feet 10 inches. The reason is because there's 12 inches to a foot. The distance around the figure is called a perimeter. The perimeter of a rectangle is the length plus the width plus the length plus the width, or perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Perimeter of a square is 4 times the side, or side plus side plus side plus side. Perimeter of a circle is called a circumference. Okay, you measure from the center to the outside. That gives you the radius. And then you take 2 times the radius times pi, which pi is always 3.1416. There are times when the diameter of the circle is given. The radius is found by dividing the diameter times 2, or by 2. Radius is diameter divided by 2. So if this circle were 6 inches diameter, you would take your diameter, which is 6, divided by 2, which would give you 3. And then you can find your circumference.